Hey, everyone. How's everybody doing tonight? As you can see, I am here by myself for a minute. Lee has gone to a 12-hour shift schedule. He said he wouldn't be home from work even until probably 8:30 Eastern, 7:30 Central. So the show must go on. So hopefully everyone's doing good today. We're going to hang around. It's been rainy here. Yesterday, put in a bunch of work making splits, started making a batch of creamed honey seed. Yeah, just a lot of stuff happening. Slow stuff though, slow. Just taking bits and chunks of things. Have queens coming next week. I have my grandbaby coming next week. What else we got going on? Well, somewhere in the middle, we're going to have to start pulling some honey to do that. And just a lot of work, hopefully the weather participates with us. So who all do we got here? We got a lot of people here right now. 34 people. Used to be I could just go through and, hey, so-and-so, hey, so-and-so, hey, so-and-so, because there's only 3 or 4 of y'all. Now there's 30 or 40 of you when we start. But we appreciate everyone that comes in. Just a quick update on the championship ring competition. There is a leader, and it's not who you guys think. Somebody has absolutely been destroying it. So there's the championship ring. Is it? Well, it just tilted in the box. But championship ring is there for the swarm catches. Right now, I was sent over the weekend, which I haven't had a chance to upload all those videos. Well, I have to say it has not been on the top of the priority list, but right now the leader has 25 swarm catches that have been verified by phone. When I say by phone, gonna kind of keep it a little bit. I don't know if I can not show it at the moment who it is, but box and box and box of swarm catches. They're killing it. So keep submitting in. Keep submitting in. We'll and then I think Tom is in second place. Mac Apiaries. Keith Larimore is in Nope. Stuffy is third with 9 at the moment. Then Keith is fourth. Robert, I've got 3 for Robert Souther. Tracy sent me 1. Steve sent me 2. Brian at Flower Street 1. Pastor Larry and Jan, they sent me 3. And Phil at 33 Mile Bees has sent me 2. Now, I know he's got more than that, so hopefully he doesn't do a like a photo dump on me, because it makes it hard to track like that. When it's 1 at a time, 2 at a time, it's fine. 17 in a row makes it really hard to do. So it's interesting though. I'm seeing if I had a map of the United States, like swarm lure sales as far as Amazon, early in the year it's down here, and then it starts moving up, and then it moves up, and then it moves up. And so you can kind of tell how it incrementally, swarm seasons are getting closer and people are getting prepared for it. So it's pretty cool. But yeah, so I mean, that's it. We've been working. Let's see if I got the photo of well, I did a live today. I don't know if you guys saw it or not, but first of all, we got the first batch of creamed honey. I'm just building seed right now, building my seed up to get that ready. If anybody knows of a used creamer for sale, let me know, please. But we got the first batch of seed going. I put a light on it because in the shadow, it looks really dark. But when you put a light on it, it's not as dark as it appears. So we got that going. Let me remove that real quick. See if I've got maybe, no. I had a photo of maybe it's on my phone still. I don't know. Let me see. Let me see. Well, anyway, I did 21 splits. So I've got those ready for queens that are coming next week. It's going to be a busy week. Not the optimal time for doing queens and splits here. So I really didn't want to do that at the moment, but I had to do it. We had to do it. Stop sharing that. All right. So Lee's not here at the moment. And you know how we like to do here. I'm going to go ahead and drop a link. And pin message. There we go. So I've got it pinned here. If anybody wants to come in and join the chat, and let's talk some bees and get it going. Maybe Charlie or somebody sitting out there that's interested in coming in. Bob has a lot of dicks. I got to catch up on the chat, guys. I was looking at different spreadsheets and stuff. Your lure identifies as mine. Oh, you got his ears lowered.
A little bit.
How's it going, man?
Oh, pretty good. A little wet here today.
Here too, man. Tell you what, I've been in crisis management mode the last couple days. It's been crazy. So, to give you an example, I'm having supply chain issues. No, this round's not from Octavio. This is from Jose. This round. I've got Octavio's earlier in the year. So, supply chain issues. So, the bottles that I put lure in, I've got a big company that I buy those from, and I usually buy them in boxes of 2,000, right? Like I'll get 2,000 bottles, 2,000 sprayers, and that holds me for a little while. Well, when I started running low, I called them to get some new bottles and sprayers. Well, guess what? Oh, we'll have some more of those in May or June. Okay, so which will it be, May or June? You know, so I'm having to fill in buying smaller batches online until they get some in. So I'm ordering a couple hundred at a time. Well, then I got to order the other day for a bee store up in Canada and had to bottle them up. Right, I had some, and I was I had enough to bottle theirs. Right, I had enough bottled where their order was done, but then it left me with like 10. Right, so so I bottled up a bunch of lures, and then I shipped them over to the labeling department in the living room for the wife to label them, and and now I've got them back in stock. But this has happened twice where I did a bunch, and I was like, oh, I better order a couple hundred just to hold me until my supplier gets them in, and then I run them, and she labels a bunch of them. Then I, keep my Amazon thing going, and then all of a sudden I get another order and had to do it again. So it's like so now I've ordered like 400 to 500 bottles off of Amazon to make it go. So it's just been crazy, but hey, it's a good crazy. It's just constantly juggling. And then you do a honey sale, you sell 40 jars of creamed honey. Well, that leaves me low on creamed honey, so now I need to cream honey, which takes time because I'm doing it 5 quarts at a time, right? And okay, well, I've got this creaming. Crap, I don't have jars to put it in, so now I have to order jars, right? So the jars are coming in, and it's just constantly, order, fill, order, fill, order. It's good. It's a good problem, but it's just frustrating because you always got a lot of stuff going, and I don't have the room to order like a pallet and set them there, So it's just.
Well, at least you're ordering and filling and not just ordering and ordering.
Well, that's typical. My wife's like, "Are you making any money?" I said, "Well, you're eating tonight, aren't you?" So, I mean, it's one of those things. It's like you just keep ordering. And I've been looking for a creamer, and Hilco's out. Freaking Better Bee's got one, but it's the bigger one, and it's about $600-700 more before the shipping. So it's going to be an easy $1,000 more just to get it here. So I'm kind of at a dilemma if I just keep doing it in the old KitchenAid mixer there. I can't do 40-50 jars a week in the KitchenAid mixer, though. That's not it. It's impossible. The time frame is too long.
You're looking at maybe what? At 8 ounces, you're probably looking at what?
Well, it'll hold about 4 quarts, right? Four quarts. It's like a gallon. It'll hold like a gallon of honey, right? So it's not overflowing. So and then you got to cream it. So that's a week.
12 jars.
Well, 24, right? If it's a gallon, that's 12 pounds. 12 pounds if you're doing half pound jars, right? So it's 24.
Yeah, so I only do 6 pounds at a time, but I don't want to. I think I got one of them off-brand KitchenAids, and it's paid for itself, but I think it's about paid itself out.
Yeah, the KitchenAid does pretty good, but it's a slow process, right? I mean, it's got to crystallize, and as it's crystallizing, you just keep blending it, and then like I said, I'm only making seed right now, so it's like once you make the seed, then you got to add more honey, and then just continue the cycle.
I had mine on the mixer last night. I turned it on and went and did stuff, forgot, and I left it run for like 2 hours.
Well, I sent John at Hilco a message on Facebook. He hadn't answered it yet, but to see when they were going to have theirs back in. I wanted to get a heated creamer. Oh.
Hold on a minute, I'll be back.
Right. I wanted to get a heated creamer. However, then I was like, but I got a heated bottling tank. So do I really need a heated creamer? So that was kind of the thing. So then I was like, well, if I'm not getting a heated creamer, then Hilco is the least expensive option at this point to get. And so, you know, might be a thing. But yeah, Nabi is an opportunity to get it if I can hold out till then on it. That's the whole thing. It's just getting it to go that far, right? Hey Russell, what did you pay for the if you don't mind me asking, for the Hilco creamer at Nabi last year? Or when you bought it? Yeah, there's really only a couple options. Lyson or Hilco. That's the only two creamer options that I've seen. Unless you're going like 35 grand option, which is not an option for me. So it's kind of crazy. Every time I look for something, it's not, you know, they don't have it. 1,100. So a couple $100 cheaper. That's not bad. Not bad. Nice, David. Good luck with catching them in your backyard. I have a hard time catching my own when they happen. Let's see. You know, the 5-gallon pail. I got you muted there. You might have to unmute yourself there. Hey, Tom.
Hey, Bob. How you doing? Hey, Morgan.
Hey, Tom.
Good to talk to you earlier today.
Yeah.
There's Charlie. Hey, Charlie.
Hey, Charlie.
Doubled up real quick.
I caught my 24th swarm today at lunchtime from the zoo area again.
Oh, well, they're not all using my lure, though, are they?
Not that one, no.
That one. Okay.
Yeah, well, I kind of did. I shook them down in the box, but since it was at a rec center right by their door,
Right.
I took another frame, sprayed your lure on it, and then put it on the branch, and they all jumped on it, and I threw them in the box. So I used it, but not as a catch, just as a way to get more bees from it.
I do it. You'll be people I think would be surprised if you use it like that. Like if you go to one where it's on the bush and you spray the box and you shake it, it tends to keep more of the bees down.
Yeah. There was probably a dozen bees left on the branch. I was able to actually pull the whole swarm into the box, then shake it,
right.
Close the lid real quick. And I just took a frame up there with your lure on it, and they hopped on it. I think I only left maybe 6 or 7 bees left.
And then you'll get called tomorrow. There's a cluster on the branch. All the foragers that came back that's like this big, right?
It was raining, so I don't think there were any foresters.
Oh, okay, that's good.
Yeah, so it kind of worked out pretty good.
You know, I've been looking for used bee equipment, and not boxes and stuff like that, but like machinery, right? And I can find none in this area. Everything is Tennessee, Ohio, New York, Idaho, Washington State. I'm like, geez, where's all the stuff down here? I don't understand. Where's all the used stuff? Or you go down south to Florida, right?
Well, if there's anything close to me, I can go get it for you, and then maybe on vacation I can have an excuse to come down.
I have to find. I've been looking at 2 items in particular: creamer, number 1, yep, and a capping spinner, number 2. But boy, are they expensive, man.
Yeah, especially this capping.
Yeah, well, the junior, if you buy a new junior capping spinner, it's pretty expensive, right? Like $2,500 or something.
Yeah, I was gonna say $3,000, but yeah.
But the and then all of the websites you go to are here he is. Well, he can add himself. I don't need to add him. There he is.
Oh, how y'all doing today?
Welcome home,
Hey,
sir.
Lee.
I ran through the door and didn't even get myself something to drink before I sat at the computer. I literally just got in.
Bob, I was a few minutes late because I just did 8 quarts of the creamer. Got it mixing.
I started some, and here's the mistake I made the first day. I went out to my warmer. That's the mistake. I went out to the warmer and grabbed two quarts to start the seed batch, and I poured them in the mixer. Didn't think anything about it. Then go to the seed from last year's batch, right? Go ahead, empty that in there, empty my seed in there, and then the heat from the melter just melted all the crystals in the seed batch. It was like, son of a gun. Then I had to go and let it cool down and had some seed come in so I could start that. So it's just set me back a day because I didn't pull the honey when it was cool. So but I got to get a bigger vessel to cream in. And I don't know, I've got the drill and all that to do the stir stick. I just was trying to avoid having to stop, a couple times a day and sit there and spin it in the bucket.
That's what I was going to say. It's easy to do that drill stick as far as the labor, but having to remember to go in there so many times a day, every day, and do it, it's better if you have that creamer. You can just set it and forget it.
Well, I'm with the KitchenAid mixer. I've been going by, and I'll flip it on and then go do something. And a while later, I'll come back and turn it off. And then, every so often, I'll just turn it back on. I really need to buy one of those just timers that you plug in and set it, run 15 minutes and just leave it on, right? So it just shuts itself off and goes. But we're trying to get it. I mean, this last weekend was pretty amazing out there selling honey, that so many people bought creamed and hot honey from me that, like, everybody. I mean, I sold 40 jars of creamed honey product between creamed and hot honey. I sold all of my strawberry. Now I've got all the stuff to do strawberry. I'm going to do blueberry. I'm going to do lemon. I've got those 3 items in, and just trying to build that market is the difficult thing.
I know, it looked pretty easy on your video. They tasted it and they bought.
Well, that's the key. You got to get them to taste it. If they don't taste it, nobody here's heard of creamed honey. They don't know. They have no idea what it is, right? No idea. So you have to get them to taste it. And everybody that I've gotten to taste it has bought creamed honey. Matter of fact, I had someone come by that night at I want to say it was 7:30 at night. It was almost dark out. And they said, how late's too late to come? I said, well, I live here as long as it's not crazy. They said, we'll be there in 5 minutes. Perfect. Right. And then I pull everything out and have it sitting on the hood of my truck with the box of spoons and the creamed honey. And they end up buying a jar of Snickers and a bottle of runny honey. So they bought a little bit of both of them. Yeah, if you can get them to taste it, I'm telling you, they're done.
See, that would be my only issue right now. If I even wanted to try to cream honey, I wouldn't be there to try to get them to taste it because I hadn't been to the market in over a year. They just buy my honey from me and sell it now. So I would have to try to talk them in to doing samples and stuff like that for me. Yeah,
and some states have rules against that, right? I'm real flexible because it's in my front yard, right? Somebody's here tasting it, and it's like no big deal. But who was it? Somebody else said they went with Philip at 33 Miles Bees. He said he And I don't know. I've never been to his place. I don't know how his housing arrangement is, but he did the same thing. He set up in his front yard, and he sold a ton of honey in his front yard too. And think yard sale, right? When people know there's a yard sale, they'll drive and find the yard sale to come by. It's like a yard sale, but only honey, right? Hey,
Right.
we're going to be out here with the local honey. If you want some, we're here, located at this address. And it's crazy. I mean, it
Yeah,
was
I can't sell mine from my place because I'm back end of a private drive. So it's just not too feasible.
well. I mean, the good thing about what I do is like Sunday, I was out there too. I didn't really publicize. I didn't sell much on Sunday while I was out there. I sold like $40 while it was out there, and then $20 more after I took it down. Right when the other people came by, but that was still $60. Yeah, it's still
Right.
6 pounds of honey ish. Well, not really. It was less than that because everybody bought some creamed honey, right? So creamed honey's half a pound. So $60 for probably 30 pounds of honey.
Right. One thing I do is I do a quarter pound of honey in a little glass jar, and I sell it at a lot lower price. And if people buy that first, then they get the half pounders.
Well, that's why I started limiting my sizes. And Charlie, we've talked about this before too, right? And I think Brad has mentioned it as well. And he's got a meeting tonight, so he won't be coming in. But if he does, it might be later. But too many options for regular honey is they always buy the lowest one. So if you take away your half pound and you only sell it by the pound, well, then the smallest one they can buy is a pound, right? So, and what I try to do is I focus on the reason they're all coming for regular runny honey. You know that. That's why they're there. Honey. Right? Just regular honey. So you have to show them the other things you offer because they're there. They're going to buy regular honey. It's like, what can you add on to that to help your sale?
Like 2 things, 3 things.
Yep, that's it. I mean, it was pretty amazing. People buying 4, 5, 6 jars of creamed honey at a time. It's like, well, where were you all my life? I mean, last year I was struggling. Of course, now I will say I didn't have creamed honey until late in the year, which is kind of why I didn't want to wait until Nobby to get a creamer because that's January, which means I wouldn't be putting creamed honey out till February, which means it'd be next season, really, before that would make any difference to me. So I should have bought last year when Brian got his, but I was a procrastinator because I didn't know how it was going to go. And then once you start getting them to taste it and they buy it, it's eye opener for sure.
Yeah.
And I really need to get into cream or comb honey. Every year I've got people asking me for combed honey or honey with the comb in it, something like that. And I like doing it. It's not a problem. However, I've been struggling building comb, and then when I get comb, the wax moss tore it up, and it's like just a constant battle. So I feel like if I start doing cut comb, I'm defeating the purpose at this point because I'm trying to build those supers up. And if I start giving them frames that they have to draw all the way out and then I take it out and cut it out, they're not building my other frames out. So,
well, I've got several people asking for the comb honey this year too, but instead of the regular cut comb, I just do the chunk. I'll put one shallow box on this year with a cut comb foundation in it. It's real thin, real wax foundation. Let them dry that out, and I'll only use that one box because the way I cut it out of one box, I can get 60 pieces out of it. So I mean, 60 jars, that'll be enough for what I need right now.
Now, do you add a premium for that?
Before, the way I was doing it, and it's been a couple of years since I've done it, but not realizing the price difference, I was only adding $2 to $3 extra per jar. So instead of doing like I was selling it for $9 a jar of regular runny honey, and if it had that little chunk of comb, little 2x4 strip in it, I was doing $11. So what I do this year, I went up on my honey price to $10 a jar, and if it got that chunk of comb in it, I'm going to go to at least 15.
In a lot of that pricing, I know, like I was saying it when we first started doing this stream, Lee, that's low. And then you started telling me what people are selling it for around you. And then it was like, oh, okay, now I understand, because you've got a lot of commercial guys near you too, right?
It's all depending on your location, really, what you're going to sell that honey for. But yeah, I did have several people tell me at $9 a jar, I was cheaper than anybody else that they'd seen.
Our cottage food, Hanley's comment here. Our cottage food act here, as long as I do it in my kitchen, I can do it up to a certain amount. I just have to let them know that, hey, I do it right here, right? But you know, with the product that I make, the creamed honeys and the flavorings, I'm using organic freeze-dried fruits, right? It's not a liquid, it's not a syrup, I'm not adding any sugar. All I'm adding is a freeze-dried fruit, and then letting the moisture from the honey rehydrate the dried fruit and mixing it in. So
you were saying before something about what, 4,800 pounds?
Yeah, 4,800 pounds is the maximum honey I can sell by law. I don't know what it is. 3,500 if you maybe add something to it. I don't know. At any rate, I'm not near that right now. That's my goal. That's my goal, which is leaning me more towards the packing, right?
Well, I was about to say, if you're getting to that volume anyway, selling 4,800 pounds a year, you're pretty much doing it full time. So then, yeah, you could end up getting your license or whatever you need at that point.
Yep, that's the goal, to get up to the amount of honey that the state allows me to do without having to be inspected, right? The max.
I think ours is $20,000 a year is the way they do ours. It's not based off of just a weight.
Yeah, Brian, I bought some of those. I know they were the most expensive of what I bought. The freeze-dried blueberries.
Do they come in a like a powder form, or are they just kind of chunk?
I get it powdered. You can buy it where it's just like freeze-dried blueberries, and then you probably would have to process that.
So you can put it basically like in a spice grinder, and it would turn into a powder. Because I mean, it's like going to the store and getting a cut of meat. You can buy the roast for one price, pretty dang cheap. But if you have it cut into steaks, they're going to charge you that premium for doing that extra work. When possibly it's something you could do yourself pretty easy.
I've been getting in the powder, just buying it in the powder. So it's worked good. It gives a good flavor to the honey. You can't taste the granules. So it's really nice.
Oh, come on. You don't want to get in there in a mortar and a pestle and kind of grind it all up?
Nope. I'll let somebody else do that work. That's work for somebody else. I got too much other things going.
Yeah, there you go, Brad. I was talking about Louisiana. Our cottage law is $20,000 a year. He's going to make $19,999.
That's it.
Yeah. Ohio doesn't have a limit, so I can make infinity.
Well, see, the law here states us 400 gallons, right, which comes out to 4,800 pounds. But we don't have anybody coming to measure how much honey you've got, or how much you've harvested, or how much you've sold. So
I can't even get an inspector to come so I can sell my bees and queens and that. I got the last 3 years I've gotten somebody to show up, but nobody showed up this year so far. The person retired to check my area.
Just for small scale here, they don't inspect unless you selling like packages or whatever, or shipping across state lines. They don't require an inspection.
They're supposed to check my hives.
Now, I mean, if I want an inspection, I can call on and they'll come out and do it. But other than that, I'm not required.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to call them because they haven't come out yet.
But see, I would go off of last year. Well, I'm still certified from the last time they came out, so
Right.
it's not my fault they won't come out.
Mine expires at the end of the month from last year. And why did he only give me to May when he came out in the fall time? I have no clue.
Inspected for what, Tom?
So I could sell my bees and queens. They just
What?
check.
You have to be inspected locally?
Yeah, I'm supposed to be inspected every year. But Hamilton County doesn't even have, Ohio doesn't even have an inspector for our county. And we have more beekeepers in our county than any county in Ohio.
Here's
I
your
mean,
question, Bob.
here it's a state or it's
Yeah,
statewide
state.
thing.
I have no idea. Ground pepper to honey? No idea.
No idea.
I when I do anything, I hate to say it, as far as that, I don't write it down for the flavorings. I just do it to taste, right? And I do it to taste specifically because there's two things I'm looking for, and I'm no honey sommelier or anything like that. But if somebody's coming to buy strawberry honey, I want it to taste like strawberries, but I want them to also know it's honey, right? It's kind of like that fine line. So I add some,
Right.
slowly get it to where it needs to be, and then when it gets to where it needs to be, I stop adding. So it's
David was talking about like the hot peppers, I guess, that you put in there. The fresh pepper one. How much peppers are you putting?
yeah. See, I don't even do that.
Just to taste again?
Yeah, I go to the grocery store and I do mine different than anybody else, I think. I cut up, I don't do freeze dried peppers. I did with the Carolina Reaper, right? But I didn't do that with my fresh pepper. My fresh pepper hot honey outsells my freeze dried or my dried peppers 5-1. I mean, it's a lot more. And what I do is I cut up the fresh peppers and I put them in a brew bag, and I put the brew bag in the bucket of honey, and I take that, leave the 200 micron filter.
The bucket filter, or are you talking about like the
plastic one,
paint bag?
the white plastic one. So I take the honey, put the peppers in there, and the fresh cut up peppers. I don't dry them. I don't do any of that stuff. I don't cook them. I put it in there, and then I put that white bucket filter on top of it. The bucket filter does two things. It's constantly letting the honey dehydrate, right? Moisture out. And it's also letting, keeping anything from falling into the bucket while it's sitting there. Because what's going to happen is it's going to gain a lot of moisture in it from the peppers when it pulls out the capsaicin and the flavors and all that. And it'll essentially candy those peppers in that bag. And once I do that, I'll go in there every day in the morning. I'll stir it, and then come back in the afternoon. I'll stir it again to mix the flavoring around in the honey, and it'll be super thin. And then when I'm done, I just let it sit and let it, like those.
How about these?
And then
I had them somewhere.
Yeah, that's what I use right there. And then I just let the moisture evaporate out of it, and until it's back to a moisture content that's safe for bottling. And you get the fresh pepper taste, and it doesn't give you that exploding jar. The first year I did it, I didn't do it right. And Greg at Nature's Image Farms had a bottle explode on him. I said, now you got to use this quick, right? I told him that, but he didn't. He put it on his shelf and it popped on him. So So I've learned it since then that I've got to let it dehydrate down. If
So
I had
you,
honey
you
dehydrate,
sent him a time bomb, huh?
yeah, if I would have had one of those honey dehydrators, that might have worked really well, right? Have the peppers in there and have that thing spinning and exposing the honey to the air and thickening it up, and that really it did a good job the last couple years, so works out well. But it gives it a unique flavor. Like if they've had Mike's Hot in the grocery store, no comparison in taste. No
Those
comparison.
filters you using, where are you getting yours from?
Probably the same place you bought yours from. You probably got them from Better Be.
Nah, I get those from Date Ant.
Date Ant.
I hadn't even looked at Better Be to see if they had them for it. It was just
You know
the
what?
first
I
time.
think I actually bought those at BBC, Blythewood Bee Company, last time I was in there a couple years ago.
The first time I ever bought them was from Date Ant, and I've just stuck with them for that. Now they did go up on price from Date Ant. They were, I think, $6.95 a piece, and now they're $9.95 a piece.
I think that's probably what I.
Yeah, I don't see that same one at Better Be.
How long do those last?
I've had some of them.
2 years.
Yeah, I've had some 2 or 3 years now. I did forget one outside last year somehow, and it ended up getting a hole in it. But basically, I run my honey through it, and then whenever it does clog up with all the wax and everything, I take it outside in another bucket and turn it upside down and spray cold water through it backwards, and it comes right out.
Yep.
And I've had no problems with it.
Let me. I'll send you. Hold on. I'll drop a link for that, and I'll show you what I got. It wasn't terrible price. This, and it was 1 day shipping. Actually, it was next day for me.
I wouldn't get them on Amazon, at least not from that seller. They want $31 for 2 of them. That's $15 a piece.
That link that I just dropped was for the seed honey that I got. I got 2.5 pounds was $23, which I didn't even need it until I melted away my seed that I had from last year. So, yep, that's the one. I got 2 of those, and they had tape around it, which made it difficult to pop the lid open, but I finally got it open. So
Where did that come from?
I got that off of Amazon.
Yeah, I know, but what state is it from? You know?
I believe it's Indiana.
U.S. grade A, white, 100% honey. Shelley, Indiana.
Is it Indiana or Idaho?
ID.
Idaho.
Idaho. Okay.
So I guess
Early
potatoes or something. But that's the one that I used, and it's nice and creamy and smooth. So until then, hey, I was using what was he was at Hive Life and Nobby. What's the guy, Joe? You remember when you first came in the door at Hive Life on the left? He was sitting by Bob Binney's booth right there. What was it? Now I got it. Now it's in my head and I can't get it out. Hold on.
Russell Koopman said that's what he used to start making cream honey.
I know who he's talking about, but I can't remember the name of the company.
I don't know. A friend of mine, she makes some cream honey, but she got hers from, I think, Better Be.
Was it Brad Ferris? I just see somebody put that name in the comments. I don't know if that's what they talking about or somebody else they were talking with.
Ferris.
That was a big creamer.
Brad Ferris.
Yep. Bryant was it Brad? It was Ferris. Yeah, that's what I was using last year. So I kept some out specifically to start again this year for my batches of last year, and I melted it all. So,
Joey, did y'all get that storm last night or this morning?
Yeah, I got a little of it. Power was.
We was out of power here from 7:30 yesterday evening, and you breaking up with a delay. Yeah, we went out of power at 7:30 here last night.
I may have to reboot.
Yesterday evening, and we didn't get power back until 4 o'clock this evening.
Wow.
But we was getting 60 and 70 mile an hour winds through here, and they got trees down all the roads out here, knocked out a bunch of power lines.
Yeah, there's a lot more rain out there.
There's a question there with Vincent. And yes, you can, after you make your own creamed honey starter, once you mix that in with your runny honey and everything sets, you can save a portion of that off in order to put into your next batch.
which is exactly what I did. However, the honey was too warm. My runny honey was too warm when I added my seed in. So when I started stirring it, it just dissolved. It dissolved the seed in there. So it was no good. So I had to let it cool down and start over again.
I'll be back. I got to get a drink.
But the
Whiskey sour.
I'm gonna
So-
reboot and start over.
okay, Charlie, what you been up to?
Not much. I was just answering a couple things about. We've been sitting here on the chat talking about the rain. Yesterday was beautiful, sunny, no clouds, bright. It was, about 75 degrees. Went out into the apiary yesterday evening after work and kind of went through all the newer hives and dug into all the brood nests and made sure that the queens were up and running. And instead of having this much cat brood, on a frame, now I got a whole frame of cat brood, and not just one. You got 2 or 3 frames of cat brood, and it's and plus eggs and stuff. And I'm switching. Like I had one out there where she had laid up, the center up pretty darn good. So I had some outer frames that were open and put them in the center to give her more space. And on that one particular hive, and it just an eye opener, I guess you would say. What I seen in the spring before I swapped queens out, and now what I see. Now I'm seeing what I want to see, in a hive, and it just reconfirms, how important it is to keep young queens in your hive.
Well,
that's the big lesson for me that I took away from this season. I won't be taking a lot of honey away. I mean, I got some, packing it in, but the locust blooms are starting to die. The poplars are out blooming right now. The cherry trees are kind of dying out. But it's raining. It's like today. It started raining, I don't know, 2:30, 3 o'clock today. It's supposed to rain tomorrow. Maybe Friday or Saturday. I'm not sure. It's, as I call it, the locust rains. You'll get those out of 5 years. You'll get one great year, and then the rest of them, they're always raining when the locust is blooming. And now it seems like it used to be. The old guys told me, your locust trees bloom for 2 weeks, let's say. Then your poplar trees would bloom for another 2 weeks. Now it seems to be coming at everything's at one time.
Yep.
Yeah.
Our catalpa trees are starting to bloom here shortly.
Too hot
Yeah,
apparently was 100 degrees at my place because I run my warmer at 100, and I pulled the jar straight out of the warmer and went in and put them in the mixer and didn't let them cool down first. Well, my thought was, oh, this is warm. It'll come all out of the jar really quick, right? You know, and it did. It came out really nice out of the jars, right? The big jars, but I added the seed before it got back to room temperature, which just dissolved it. So,
I know Russell Koopman does a lot of creamed honey, and he's saying above 95 would be too warm.
yeah. So that was.
I would think you would heat it up, like you say, to melt any crystals that's in that liquid honey form and let it come back at least close to room temperature, and then add your seed.
Yep, but in typical Bob fashion, in a rush, did it too quick. Didn't let it cool down.
Impatient, huh?
yeah.
Yeah.
Ain't no beekeeper impatient.
Work's gonna
Usually upper 60s, about 70.
So I usually try to let it at least come back down to room temperature. But so when I added, and it's dark honey, right? So I'm trying to get it. I see Morgan's. Morgan's is like white. I mean, like the white that it shows on Indianapolis there. And I never get, my honey never gets that white at all. So the only thing I figure is that I just need to cream it a little bit longer because it just turns like a beige.
There's my
Up
Yeah,
there you go.
Right there.
cream.
that's the same color as mine, Morgan. Mine comes out white too.
That's a nice looking jar. Whose is that?
That's from Russell Koopman.
All right, let me see the jar, the side of it. Now that's after it's been flavored.
It's good in coffee.
Well, my honey's also a light colored honey too.
Yeah, that's just plumb clear. That's like water.
Water clear, yep. Oh man, KitchenAid mixer. I've had batches going, and that's my hiccup now, right? Is I'm building a market and being able to keep up with the demand. It takes a good
You got to
Good
buy
week.
KitchenAids.
I mean, it takes a good week, it seems like.
Yeah, like Morgan said, you'd either have to have multiple KitchenAids or just go ahead and invest and get a creamer.
But if you start getting multiple KitchenAids, you might as well get a creamer because you're still only going to be 5.5 quarts at a time, right? So the idea for me was to start some seed, buy a creamer, cream up a big batch of regular, then get out of the creamer the amount that I need, put it in the KitchenAid mixer, add my flavoring, mix the flavoring in the KitchenAid mixer, right?
Yeah.
And that way I can always have seed going and be able to make flavors in the mixer. So that was kind of my idea. Don't know if it'll work or not. You guys have been doing creamed honey longer than I have. The Hilco creamer makes my creamed honey whiter than my 5-gallon pail method. Yeah, so I'm noticing, and I think it's if it's darker for me in my mixers because I haven't creamed it long enough. I haven't let enough crystals get in there, because if it's dark, that means it's more honey content than crystallization content, right? You would think that would kind of be it. If the crystals are white, then because the starter that I used was really white. I mean, so I was hoping that it would, and it is. It's getting whiter as I do it. But yeah, I'm using the dough hook. I was using the mixer, the blade paddle thing, and that works really well. But I noticed that when I would turn it off overnight and I'd get up the next morning, there would be a froth on the top of it. And I also noticed that froth on the top of it in the jar when I paled or when I bottled it. So I don't know. And smoother. Okay. So yeah, I need one of those guys to go ahead and get one in stock. I mean, I could order the one from Better Bee, but it's 70 liters. And let's see, 70 liters to gallons is 18. It's still 18 gallons, I guess, either way, but it's not heated. That particular one, I think, if I've got it, if I'm looking at the right one on the page.
Gentlemen, it's going to go early in the morning for me if we go to work, so I'm going to sign off. Y'all take care. I'll talk to y'all later.
All right, man. Have a good one.
You too. Bye.
All right. And it's a yeah, $1,800 is what they've got on that one from Lyson on Better Bee site, and that's unheated because I've got a heated bottler. I can heat the honey over there, empty it out, and pour it into here for creaming once it's gotten cool enough. And yeah, I used the dough hook. Let's see.
Is that
And
what size would you get, or would you get the bigger one?
This is probably the size I would get. 18 gallons at a time. I mean, that's.
What was that one? I was looking at. What was the other bigger one that's out of stock?
They've got a bigger one than this one too. Let's see.
And 18 gallons, that's 216 pounds there. So I mean, that's quite a bit of creamed honey you can do at a time.
Go back to your menu there and go down to creamed honey.
Where here?
Yeah, go down. It says creamed honey. Right there. You keep on going up.
Out of stock. They've got the 150 liter for $2,200.
You want it heated, 18-gallon heated?
Well, that's what I was looking at originally. That's just the attachment. And this won't fit on mine because I don't have this tank. I've got
a tank. That's $2,600. Might as well say $3,000 by the time you get done.
See, this 36 gallon is $3,100. It's twice as big.
But how many?
This. So I was looking at this one here.
I think that's the size that Lloyd's got.
This one, the 70.
Yeah, it's a little small thing.
And this is my bottling tank. Wait a minute. That's my bottling tank, but this has a creamer on top of it. They said there was no attachment for that. I wonder if I could just get the attachment.
Yeah, I would think so.
View larger.
See how this one sits on top? Around the edge?
It fits over the edge like a cap on it.
Because I've got a real thick corner. My question is, I guess you got to pour the honey in and then put this on top of it because.
Well, there's the knob that raises the lid up.
Unless you get a pump to pump it from your other bottling tank or whatever into a new one.
So this might be the. But they don't sell just this unit without getting it directly from Lyson, I think, which would make an order. You'd have to order it. And I believe it says when you do available by special order, what's it say?
Usually call for quote.
Yeah, but I think it said it was like allow 4 to 6 months.
Yeah, right above it. Keep on right there.
2 to 4 months for delivery. So that's 2 cords, right? So one for the thing and one for the tank. So that's interesting. I don't know if I can just get that attachment or not. But I mean 2 to 4 months, that's hell. That's November, December time frame, right? It's like that. What's that do me good for next year too? So yeah, you have to order it. there's no picking that up for sure. But order the creamer as replacement parts. But we'll see, man. We'll see how it goes. I just got to find one. Goes on an 18-liter pail. Let's see.
200-401S.
Let's see. Oh, that's a license number. 200 what? 401?
Yep. S.
Just trying to see if they don't have that at they don't have that number at Better Be.
I typed that number in. I'm pulling up like the license EU website.
And I called Dancing Bee to see if I could get one from them. And they're like, yeah, you can get it, but it would have to be in our shipment that comes in January. So it's like, I haven't found a slushy machine. I was going to try that.
I would just almost think the torque on it wouldn't be enough for the honey once it got thick.
Let's see.
You'll go say they'd be ready.
He hadn't got back to me yet. I would buy it from him.
Yeah, because I think, what is it? Carl, he's got a Hilco.
Carl's got the Hilco. Well, I was looking for a warm one.
I think he's got both of them, Hilco and a license.
Yeah, he does. He says he likes them both. He says he likes the Hilco
paddles are better.
Paddles better.
What's the warmer for in that, huh?
What's that? The warmer?
What's the warmer for in the?
Well, it's so you put your honey in originally. You warm it up to make sure there's no crystallization in it to begin with.
Okay.
And then you let it cool down and mix in. But you could double it as just a bottling tank. But I've got a bottling tank. Let's see.
Hope says, there he is.
Carolina Bee Farm in Hendersonville. They're a couple hours away. I wonder if they got one.
Hendersonville, what?
North Carolina. Carolina Bee Farm, creamed honey equipment. License 70. Out of stock, though. That's the problem. Everybody's out of stock. Which, I'm not a rocket scientist, but when honey season's coming, you would want to have honey processing equipment in stock this time of year.
I used to kind of think the same thing, but I think at the same time, everybody else is doing like you are. They're looking for the equipment and done got sold out again. I guess they only got so much room in the warehouse and they're going to order a certain amount and then it just sells out quick.
Well, Rodney there, he could go over there and check it out for you, see if they got one.
Well, it said on their website they're out.
I'll never believe that. Always call.
Let's see if Julie works this time. I think you just got bad signal out in the camper.
Tonight, anyway. Usually it's pretty good.
I think it's my whole house. Might have to get them to come out and look at it.
Hey there, Mr. Doug. How you doing?
Not too bad,
Hey, Doug.
Charlie.
Did you guys get rid of that snow up there?
Yeah, traded it for rain.
Yeah.
Liquid snow.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you're asking me about the honey and all. I mean, I got supers on the ones that came through the winter and have been requeened, and even the newer units. And they're bringing some, as long as they have fly days, they're bringing it in. But it's just like last week it rained. It was threatening to rain 3 or 4 days. And I think it rained one, and it's raining right now. I think into tomorrow, and I don't know. It's a crappy year.
Yeah, we're
I looked at next week and it's rain again.
You're talking over top of him, Tom. What'd you say, Doug?
It said rain today, showers tomorrow, 3 days of rain after that again.
Mm-hmm. It sounds about like us. What'd you say, Tom?
Yeah, we're supposed to get rain the next couple days and one off, then 2 or 3 more again through morning of Saturday, and then a lot of rain next week too.
Is that right?
Yeah, crazy.
Hey, yeah, Rhonda, thank you very much for that. Yes, she bought Happy Tablets and Swarm Lure, so she's carrying both of those in her store now. So you'll be able to pick both of those items up right there. I actually did give you a shout out on a video the other day.
Bob, that license attachment for the creamer, it clamps onto a 5-gallon pail. I don't have a price. It's in their catalog.
Where do you buy your stuff at, Doug? From that place, Dancing Big?
I think our licensed creamer come out of Quebec someplace. But usually we just buy through Made in Winnipeg.
Made carries that stuff too?
They will import stuff for you, yeah.
But they don't stock it.
They stock a bit of stuff, but no, not a lot. More for the hobby beekeeper.
Creaming machine, 400 volts. Yeah, that's the thing, is everything, because Better Bee's the distributor. I think Peerco's the distributor too. But when I went to Peerco's site, they said it said like everything was pre-ordered as well. There's the one that looks like it's a classic that fits 70 liter. Of course, they don't have any prices on there.
Where was licensed from? Poland?
Poland, yes.
Russell was asking France or Belgium.
Poland. So yeah, that's the dilemma. Yeah, I need to start an American-made creamer company. Hey, but the bad thing is the American-made creamer company that you got to order everything from China to make. With Chinesium.
No, they don't have anything in Canada. Not that I know of.
No, Hilco doesn't have a distributor in Canada. They do. It's called China. Like everybody else. In China, if you go to the Chinese websites, they don't even make one. You can't find a creamer on a China website. But it's interesting because every time I look for something, it's always out of stock and I have to wait. which is, I guess, fine. I mean,
Well, that gives you time to save your money.
but if you have the money, it's like, take my money now. I need it now. I don't need it.
Well, that's the thing. They good at taking your money now, but you'll
You
get
just
what you're
won't get
looking for 2 to 4 months.
That's right. So that's the thing, right? And I've been looking at those wax spinners, and License got a nice little spinner, but it looks more like a mini. All right, so the junior uncapping spinner that, like, well, Brad's got the senior, but it's got the blades in it, right? Where you just drop your cappings in it. Where the License one has a stainless steel drum in it, but then it's got a big filter like the plastic one that you held up, Lee, that fits inside of there. It's 200 micron. Yep. But it's the whole sides and everything is 200 micron. And you slide it right down into that drum and it spins. You pump your honey straight into there and it spins through that thing. But it seems like, boy, that would add a lot of air to the honey. Yeah, but that's how that one is. It was, I think it was one of the lives I did this weekend, Rhonda. Apologize.
Now, Doug, we were talking about, clarifying, the bottleneck of getting the honey out of your spinner and all that stuff. And don't you use the clarifier, Doug, on your machine?
Honey sump.
We have a sump that all our honey flows into. And from the sump, then we go to a big,
like 3 or 4 screens, and it catches the stuff up on the top, and the clean honey goes underneath.
Yeah. We still get wax going through the pump, but then we have a big tank that I think it's 16 barrels. It holds a settling tank to do a final cleaning for us.
Yeah, and that's the one I think you get up in there every year and shovel stuff out, don't you?
I don't. My son does.
Someone does.
I have seniority.
Hey, James.
Worker and Hive in Calgary stock a lot of licensed stuff. We bought our license pump through them.
Worker and Hive.
Yeah.
Of course, the shipping from Canada would probably. Let's see.
While you pulling that up, I just looked at my calendar, and if everything's right this time, tomorrow should be Sarah. It's Sarah Happy Hive's birthday.
I think she left, didn't she?
She said she was leaving, but she's still in the comment there. I don't know if she left her computer on or not, but she's still in there somewhere. And then, let's see, this coming Saturday, Paul Hale Hives is going to be his wedding anniversary.
I got a birthday coming up 3 weeks from now.
June the 5th.
7th.
For some reason, my computer's off. It's showing you on June the 5th. Let me fix that. Let
me see. I'll see. There's a creamer sold out 70 liter. There's a equipment auction in your area too there, Doug. Beekeeping equipment being auctioned off.
Yeah, I sent a picture of the extracting line to Brad.
So that's where I got that picture from.
Oh, okay, yeah. Yeah, I think it's just a perfect size for somebody like Brad, that one.
The 28.
Yeah.
It's actually a good price on it too, from what I saw in the picture.
Yeah.
Currently, it's a good price until people start bidding on it, right? A little bit more.
I think it'll go for under 10, that thing yet.
Yeah, all the smaller creamers are sold out. The 70 and the 100 over there. The 50 liter they have, it's a little bit smaller.
I think ours is 200. I can put a barrel of honey in it.
I don't even make a barrel of honey. Oh, it was the one on the way to the Ford place. That was on Friday then. They called me back today. They're like, oh, hey, next time you're over this way, the guy wants 2 bottles of honey. But yeah, that's the looks like they got a couple new licensed wax melters over there too, or solar wax melters.
So how's the nectar flow going in your area, Bob?
We still have privet blooming. I mean, it's on its last leg, but then today I've got a few white flowers on the privet still, but it was rain today, so I looked up and the mimosas have their buds on it. They're getting ready to pop open.
I hadn't seen any mimosas directly like in my neighborhood or within a mile or two around me. Now about 6 miles down the road on the way home, I seen a couple bloomed out on the side of the road, little pink furries hanging down. Our privet's been gone out for a few weeks now, but the tallow, it was hanging low yesterday, but I hadn't got to check it out after the storm to see how bad that tore it up.
Doug, you got any fires your way?
No. Well, I shouldn't say that. There's one not too far away over in Manitoba, I guess, but it's not affecting us.
What's starting the fires here? I mean, something's got to start them.
We'll blame the Democrats.
Big one up in northern BC. A tree went over on a power line.
Oh,
But I don't know what the other ones have.
Yeah, all the creamers are sold out, the smaller ones.
what's that company that was that Nobby Trone or something like that? They sell a creamer, don't they?
Is that
That's it. But I'm sure they're expensive.
Thorn?
Thorn, yeah.
Oh, I'm sure that's Thorn Manufacturing.
That's a little above our price range, huh?
Yeah, I'd say so.
Maybe if I did a video, they would send me one. I doubt. Let's see.
I found you a good price on one, Bob.
If you said that, it's already too high.
Oh no, I think we can all afford this one in here.
A hand creamer?
Yeah. That was the first thing that popped up when I put that in.
Let's see. Extractor, 8-gallon wax melter bottling tank, an 8-gallon. 8 gallons, $1,500. Wax dipping tank, immersion heater, lid, a 15 frame extractor for $2,200.
That's an oddball size.
I got a 25 kilogram honey mixer and creamer for $968.
That's Cayman Reynolds stuff there. That's too much for me. Too much for me. Anyway, if you guys see one.
I hit the wrong button there. AFA Hex is another. AFA Hex is another place that sells up here, Bob.
Apehex.
APHIHEX.
All right. Catalog. Extracting and processing. I assume this is all Canadian dollars on the site.
Yeah.
Settling tanks. Pneumatic. They got my pneumatic honey valve. I love that thing.
Joey's saying save your money.
Save my money and do what? I don't see the licensed creamers on there are sold out. Let's see. Oh, so Honey Flow, if you're in Abbeville, that's in the upstate, I believe. Some people are already saying it's off, but if you go by the South Carolina Beekeeping website, they said that it should through the end of May, they should still be storing it away. And I usually pull mine at the end of June, early July here. Of course, last year, it was 1 year ago today when I did my first pull. And then I kept pulling as it went along. I guess I'll just have to keep lookout. Hey, that auction doesn't have a creamer on it, does it, Doug?
No.
Let's see. He says it's so dry up there, anything catches the grass on fire if it has a spark.
I guess James better get one of those little vaporizer smokers in. That way you don't have to worry about no sparks coming out the end.
No, I don't think Vivor sells a creamer. But yeah, that's what's going on in Bob's world, trying to find stuff constantly. As fast as the money comes in, it goes back out, it seems like. Actually, sometimes it goes out faster than it comes in.
Now, Vivor does sell creamers, but it's ice cream.
Oh, yeah, I sell liquid honey. That's not a problem. I just make twice as much on creamed honey as I do on runny honey. But they will buy honey either way.
It seems like it sells better too.
Yeah, well, the thing is they're not going to not buy runny honey when they come. They just buy the creamed honey as an add-on. So I pulled 357 pounds to make room. Whew.
Yeah, me and Joey's probably close to the same right now. I've got right at around 400, and I still got some that needs to be pulled off. And then I got a couple of stacks of supers that I got waxed up for the new foundation, and I need to get them put on this weekend when I'm off. Trying to catch up on comments. Yeah, I didn't get to check the tallow today when I got home, see how bad the storm tore it up. So I'm hoping everything's good. As long as everything's still hanging and starting to bloom out, that rain we got, that should have the nectar flowing by the weekend. And then I'll be putting boxes on.
What did you get down there as far as a rainstorm? Tornado type?
Yeah, we was getting 60 and 70-mile-an-hour winds yesterday evening and got a bunch of trees blown down. Power was out for about 20 hours.
Daylight out.
That was me
Absolutely.
right. That was me
North-
right there in the little red tornado area. Whoop, hold on. Right there.
Ooh. Can you send some of that rain our way, Lee? You can
I
keep
don't
the
mind
wind.
having a little rain. I just don't want it to tear our tallow or anything up because we didn't have a good year last year because we didn't have enough rain.
Oh, let me tell you, the whole countryside up here is on fire again. So, Alan bailed and everything like that last week. They were fighting fire right up to within just a few yards of their house and their home quarter and stuff out there too. So, really not good up here.
Rodney's making, hold on, let me pull this up. Rodney's making a comment saying he bet I got a Generac here. I went old school last night there, Rodney. I had the old kerosene lantern pulled out.
I like those things. We got 2 of those on our map.
I do. I love them. I got a couple of them, keep a couple extra gallons of fuel stored for them.
And they'll always work.
Yep. Well, I have like battery flashlights and let's see, I don't know where Renee put my other one. I had a couple in here, but I mean, I saved them for the last minute just in case I need it for something else. I'd rather burn the fuel.
I just burned wax candles, beeswax candles. I got solar panels too. Heat up, light up part of the house.
Hey, Ian.
There's Ian.
It won't
Ian.
stop
What you
raining
doing
here, James.
What's that?
It won't stop raining where I am.
Oh, geez, I wish. It is, well, I've been feeding now for, well, we're going on a couple months, and there's still not even a dandelion really out. I think I found maybe 1, 2 dandelions. There's nothing here. In fact, I don't know if you can see, I'm,
Pop him up big. There you go.
I was going to say, there's my,
There's my high lifter.
yeah. So I'm out here again tonight, giving them all another partial pail, trying to get them through until some nectar comes. The as you can see, the poplar come out. There's no shortage of pollen. In fact, I'm fighting with them a little bit there to make sure they don't get pollen bound. But there's not a nectar source anywhere up here yet. So wait and see. There's supposed to be possibly some rain here Thursday, Friday, but time will tell.
And all it does around the Ohio Valley is rain.
What about
3 out of 4 days? 3 out of 3 days. 3 out of 4.
what about planting up there, James? As far as like the canola and stuff.
Well, most of the farmers have got the seed in the ground. Some of them, got it in early. It germinated, and now they're a little bit concerned that it's bit the big one. It died, so it germinated, and no moisture for it to die or to carry on.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
it's really not a good situation up here at all. So.
Joey said he wished he had internet as good as his generator.
So it is giving me time to get a few more queens done. Oh, what's Ian saying there?
He says these are light as well.
Oh, yeah.
He said the cool rain has kept the bees from flowering. We're close to a flow.
Yeah, well, I keep thinking we're close to a flow, and then we don't get any rain and nothing again. So it, I don't know. These these girls are living on sugar water right now. So all I can say is thank goodness for Apis, because that's the only thing that's keeping them going with any source of close to nectar at all.
Our bees missed the poplar flow here with rain, and dandelions are starting to show now, but we're heading for 4 or 5 days of rain again.
Yeah, our poplar trees gave us pollen, but that's it. There's no nectar at all that came out of any of them. So it is super dry up here. So
What are you doing in the apiary there? Just feeding, or are you doing something?
So I've made up a bunch of where's my camera? Mini mating.
6-frame mix.
So they're 5-frame actually. So Brad put me onto this. So I'll go over here. I don't know. I'll see if I can show you. So these 5-frame nukes.
Expand it. There you go.
Where are we? They fit exactly on top of the boxes. So what's happening is I put them on here. The girls are drawing the wax out. They're getting it all ready, and I can just take them from there and put them onto their own pallet with their own base. And if you go around to the front, there's 4 of them that go on a pallet. So 2 on the front, 2 on the back, and then they go on I got the divider to go on the pallet, so I'll have 8 mating nukes on each pallet. And I'm going to try the same thing as what Ian did. So if these girls get plugged out, now my understanding is that they will make it through the winter in 2 of these boxes. We're going to find out. But a queen excluder will go on the top, and I'm going to see if they'll make me honey. So I have a hard time getting queens up here, so my goal is to have 100 queens at my disposal at any given time. So that's the plan of attack. We'll see how it goes. Actually, I haven't looked in one, so maybe what I'll do is I'll set you down, I'll flip the camera around, and we'll lift the lid off this to see if they're even drawing the wax out at all.
Knowing you already know the answer to that question before you put it up there.
No, actually, I haven't opened it up at all. So, we're going to find out. We're going to find out together.
If you don't have a flow, you probably won't be getting much wax.
Yeah, that's what I.
Let's find out. See if I can turn you around here. All righty. So we do have these working them. But they're not doing a whole lot yet. They're basically just up there getting the sugar. So not much of anything happening there.
So that's your mating box.
Yep. Let's pop one off and see what's going on down underneath it.
Is your sugar 1-to-1?
Sugar's 1-to-1, a little bit thinner than 1-to-1. Yep.
I'm gonna say if it's a little thinner, that'll be better then.
Yeah, it's a little thinner than 1-to-1. But they're not drawing much there yet. I do have my grafting out here too. We could check and see. I haven't checked on that yet either, but we could see what that's doing. Where's that? That's over here. I'll set you down again. See if I can put this so that you'll be able to see over the edge. Let's see how this will sit. Well, it'll be slick if it works, Ian. Oop, did I lose you guys?
No, we can hear you.
Nope, you're good.
Okay. Well, let me grab my brush and let's see what we've got in here. It's a little cool, so. Well, there's definitely bees. Well, let's see if this is my first round here this year, so no idea what we're going to find.
This is usually the one where I found that I didn't get all the cells.
Well, I don't know if you guys can see. What do we got there? We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 on the top, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 on the bottom. So not bad for the first round, I guess. We'll get them back in so they don't get chilled or cooled. So that's only about 50%. But
Hey, Karen.
There's Carrie. Hey, Carrie.
Yeah. Carrie's checking out your system there.
Oh, maybe she can tell me what I'm doing wrong.
Yeah, Carrie had 100% today.
Oh, show off. So, yeah, it's the first round in here. So, we'll see where we're at. 50% the first round. That still gives me not too bad.
50%
But,
is about average in the first round. You got to teach them how to make those cells again.
Oh, I was going to say, that's one of my lowest graphs, I think, in probably a couple of years. But you win some, you lose some.
The now you said you got that the mating nukes from Brad. That idea?
Yeah, Brad put me onto that idea. So, well, I'll show you here. So they're all set up, right? So it's just got the disc and stuff on the front. The frames are all done up. So it works out pretty good because cutting the foundation down a little bit like this, I get 3 frames out of a sheet of foundation. So less than 2 sheets of foundation, the mating nuke is all set up. And they literally will just go together side by side. Of course, they're not going to sit because I got the cap in underneath there. And the other 2 go the opposite way. And then they are the exact size of a regular box. So, and then on the pallets on the bottom, I just made a divider across that will sit down on top of the pallets. So I use the same pallet on the nuke boxes. I can't see what Ian's saying there. 44 out of 45 acceptance.
Can you believe you missed one?
Unbelievable. Yo, what's this world coming to? So
you're gonna keep missing them. Should get replaced.
Yeah, there you go. So
I doubt that.
But you can see how they sit on.
Yeah, they sit perfect.
Then on the side, they just go right together, right?
So you can't use the hive lifter on those for sure.
Well, yeah, I can because they're going to go on a regular pallet. So with the pallet forks, I just pick the pallet up and away I go. So once again, just trying to keep everything uniform so everything will lock together. So you end up with 8 mating nukes on a 2-way pallet, and you can get it set up relatively easy. But as soon as they get a flow, they're going to draw these out, I would think, pretty quick. So
wouldn't you have to be really on top of that though with the flow up there? Won't they draw it out quick and start backfilling it right away?
Well, possibly. But the queen's not going to be in there that long, right? So
I'm just saying from the mother colony there, you have to pull them off quick enough.
Oh, yes. Yeah, absolutely. And right now, I don't even have a queen excluder in there. So, But the idea behind it, I'm not sure where Brad came up with the idea, but the idea behind this is once the queen is in there and she's laying, and let's say I don't get a cell back in there right away, they're going to have their own egg, almost like a little walkaway split, if you will. So, if for something happens with the grafting program, these guys will be set up with the, there's enough in here and there'll be enough bees in there. A walkaway split's not what I want. I can't control the genetics on it, but I won't lose me stuck, right?
Right.
But so we'll see. This is my first year. I got 100 of these made up. So I got 25 pallets just about ready to go. So it should work out pretty darn good, I hope. We'll see. But as you can see, I got buckets on everything here yet. So but
Won't be long.
well, if we get some rain, everything's gonna pop, but we got to get some rain. I mean, even the grass is kind of stunted and half dead, and it's and you had mentioned earlier about a smoker, Lee. So there was a beekeeper up here who wasn't paying attention. His smoker tipped over, and he did. He caught his apiary on fire and the neighbor's field on fire, and so. But as much as Brad gives me a hard time about my flow hive smoker, that is exactly why I like that thing. So I'll see if I can show you that too.
Hey guys, I gotta hop off. Everybody be good.
All
All right,
right.
good.
That's
Have a
it,
good
Tom.
one, Tom.
So this just gets Brad's goat. But if you pop the lid, can't fall out. So, everything stays right there. I think every smoker should have something like this, to be honest with you. It's such a
That's kind of that's the same principle as the old steam engines. They would, if they were doing thrashing, that they actually had a screen cone on top of the smokestack, so the smoke ashes wouldn't go out and set anything on fire.
Basically,
Yep.
just works as a spark arrestor.
it does. And like I said, I personally think every smoker should have something like that. But anyways, not to mention, right, Brad's favorite one here.
The flow. You still run that hive too, don't you?
I keep that at the house. Yep. So I still run that hive, and the reason I still run that hive is the next door neighbors love it when they come over at the end, and we sit around, have a couple beers, and they get to fill their honey jars up.
They got to bring the beer though, right?
Well, you know what? Sometimes if I can't bribe them with honey, bribe them with beer. What do you do?
That's kind of what I do with my neighbors. I give them a little bit of honey every year. That way, maybe they don't complain about the bees.
Yeah, well, I do. My wood shop and everything's there, so I'm a country boy, and the wife's convinced me to move into the city. So now I'm out there for the wee hours of the morning, air guns going and saws going, and then every now and then there might be a beehive or 6 that end up in my backyard, and yeah, they don't complain at all. They all come over for a barbecue, fill their honey jars, and they're good, for the next year. So, but anyways, I'm going to fire up this pump. I'm going to get all these girls fed, and then I got to go pick up a bunch of nukes. So over at one of my other yards, I got a bunch of nukes that are ready to go for. They're hitting the road tomorrow morning. So that'll be the first 20, 25, 24 that are out of here. So, and then
So how many colonies you looking at running yourself this year, besides any nukes you selling?
We're hoping to hit 300 again. And last year I was planning to stay at 300 into the barn, but sale came up, I couldn't resist. But we're going to put at least 300 into the barn this year, and we're going to shoot for 600 at the end of next year. So we'll see how that goes.
That'd be nice.
So, but anyways,
Is that kind of around? I mean, you were saying something around 1,000 hives. Is that due to the weather conditions this year and growth ability?
No, what's limiting me right now is the ability to build woodware. So
Okay.
that's what's holding us back here right now. So, Alan still farms, so he's out right now, kind of working the field and stuff like that too. So he looked after him through my shutdown. I look after him through his seeding, and then we both hit him again. Probably by the end of next week, we'll all both be out here again. But it's really building the woodware, and the other part of that is looking after the financial end of things. So we're doing this without having to go into the hole too much. So as we sell bees or we sell honey, we purchase the equipment. We build it up, sell bees, sell honey, purchase the equipment. So all the money's going right back into it right now. But we're trying to do it without going into the hole. So
Sounds like a good plan to me.
yeah, it'll take us a little bit longer, but I think it's the safer way to do things.
Yep.
All right, guys. Have a great night. Good to see everybody again, and
See you, James.
I'll try to tune back in here on the next one.
Have
All right.
a good one,
All
James.
right. See ya.
Bye, guys.
Hi, James.
Let's see. The
Garrett.
Yeah, it's Garrett.
let's see. We got about 12 more minutes. We call this one for the evening. Doug, are you done splitting? Are you splitting colonies yet? Ian asked. I don't know if you saw that or not.
Yeah. We got the split on the weekend.
You split this last weekend, or are you splitting this weekend?
Last weekend, we got a couple of days where we could split.
Now, all right, you're splitting your hives. So are you splitting them to sell nukes, or are you splitting them to gain more hives?
Just replace winter losses and gain hives.
So you're averaging, I think, was it around 300 or so every year?
350.
350 is a good number.
So you split, replace the dead outs, and kind of a fluctuation thing. Okay.
Yeah. Dealing with skunk issues right now. I think I've taken 16 out of the yard so far.
Yeah. That's a lot.
6 out of 1 yard. Those bees are grouchy.
Hey, Jarrett. Yeah.
But it's a continuous thing this time of year. I find it amazing that we're getting ready to finish up down here, and you guys haven't even started up yet. Really good. And then everything we do is like summer solstice. We're starting to ramp everything down, and you guys are just ramping up for honey. So it's kind of crazy.
Doug Russell's asking, how many frames of brood were you finding when you're making splits?
Probably about 6 on the average.
Let's see, at solstice, we got 36 days until solstice.
Yep. Then we're back into winter again.
Pretty much how our weather is down here. You got winter and not winter, or summer and not summer, really. We don't get much of a winter.
Yeah, Mike. It's already started to rain here this afternoon and on through the rest of the week.
It rained today here. And we'll get rain again on Saturday.
Yeah, it's raining. It started around 3 o'clock today here, and it's going to rain tomorrow. And maybe Saturday.
We haven't had thing here is I think our rain. Thank you, Robert. Our rain this year has been kind of like you, Charlie. Every week we're getting a little bit of rain, and it's been just enough to keep the temperatures down. Because usually this time of year we're already brown grass, brown everything. It seems like, and for me, lush green dirt. My dirt, my front yard dirt, but we're getting a lot of nice blooms, and it seems to be dragging the blooms out a little bit. So that's a good thing. So
Yeah, I'm looking at the 7-day now. It's going to rain 80% tomorrow. Thursday and Friday looks pretty decent, and then it's going to rain Saturday and 40% Sunday, and it's just, I don't know.
That's what's bad for me. They calling for more rain here Friday and Saturday, and I'd planned on going to the other yards to start moving some bees back to the home yard, because Renee has actually volunteered to put a bee suit on and go help me move bees. That'll be the first time she's ever put a bee suit on or got near a bee.
That's unique.
I have not tried the Better Comb. When it first came out, there was a guy north of me in North Carolina that bought a bunch of it. And when it got really hot out, it started to sag in the frames and melt. So after I saw that video, I never invested in it because it's kind of expensive. So I've kind of this year I've kind of adopted what Brad was saying. Put one deep honey super on. Once you extract that out, that becomes next year's brood box wax, right? And then just keep every year put a deep on, let them draw it out, and start cycling the comb that way. So I'm trying to do that. Yeah, it's been a pretty good flow so far. I still, a lot of my colonies were first year colonies this year, so they're doing what they can, but and they look better than they probably are actually, as far as storing honey away and drawing comb. But they're doing pretty good.
Well, you were saying on your video, I think it was today, or you had those ones set up for those queens coming out. Have you got a date on them things yet?
He said last I talked to him, he said he was shipping them on the 20th, which would put them here on the 21st, right? Next Tuesday.
All right.
So I went ahead and did the splits, and put some feed on those little splits, to give them. And I hate that they came this time, because I really want those bees hatching out in those mother colonies, right, for honey production. But I don't have any choice. I had to split them for queens. And so I split my first year colonies, right? Those nukes that I got a month and a half ago had six frames or better of brood in them. So that's what they got pulled, right? Went down the line and just pulled out bees.
See, we got Paul Hill just came into the comments finally. Just to remind them, Paul, I did bring this up earlier. If my calendar is right, this is your anniversary coming up this weekend.
One advantage with all the rain we're getting, it's spreading out the seeding the farmers are doing, so our crops are going to be spread out over a longer period. And that's a plus for us.
And that's similar to what's happening here with the blooms, right? Because of the weather.
So does that mean they're planting canola at different times? That way you're going to get a continuous bloom?
Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly, Charlie.
Keep your bees busy longer.
Well, I don't know. I looked at I put the date in it when I spin honey out in the buckets and stuff, and I had honey in the buckets on the 20th of let's see, June, I guess it was, which was kind of on the early side. Usually used to be honey flow would stop around the 4th of July, but it seems like it's getting shorter and shorter all the time.
"39 years."
See, you reminded him. That saved him for this weekend.
He's ordering his flowers right now while he's watching.
Let's see, that should be Saturday, the 18th. So remember that, Paul.
Yeah. So my daughter's coming into town on the 20th. They're moving back from Germany.
So is that the first time you're getting to meet the little one?
Yeah, the little one. Yeah, I got to pick them up from the airport on the 20th. And then we have to drive down to Charleston on the 21st so they can pick up their car that was shipped from Europe, right? So here's the problem. My queens are coming on the 21st. So it's like there probably won't be anybody here when the guy comes and drops them off. So it's going to be one of those things. Find the queens. Well, it'll probably be the one you just look for the ball of bees that are on the cage and on the front porch, right? Because they've smelled the queen pheromones from the queens.
I was about to say I would put something out there that would have like a little roof over it to keep sun direct off with a shelf and some signs saying "Put bees here."
Right. Wait, hey, it's funny because when it's nice out, boy, when they deliver packages, I've seen them pull up. I hear the door slide open, and I open up the front, and they run to the porch because they feel like they're going to get stung from the bees. So they run up the porch, drop everything off, and run back to the truck. But in the rain, it's not a problem because they're all inside. But when it's nice out, boy, they move pretty quick. They move really quick to get the package on the porch. So, and you never know what time of day they're going to come deliver them. But I've got the nukes ready to go for them. So hopefully that I can just go put them right in. But this weekend I got to knock down queen cells. Any volunteers. So they have a few days with no cells, no ability to make queens, and good to go then. Oh, I didn't think about that.
And you can have them hold it.
My UPS store would be freaking out. Bees. We got bees.
Well, last time I got bees shipped to me, Mark Miller sent me 10 the VSH Virgin Queens. And I went up to the UPS store to pick them up because they didn't show up here the day they were supposed to. Well, they had a bad storm and something about the plane got delayed from wherever. So I went up there and they trying to find them. They can't figure out where they're at. Finally, they show up the next morning and they set them on the table. But luckily, they were in the shade and everything was good.
I think part of the problem with the queens that I got last year, and I noticed Jose started doing something different after, is, the vents that are on the sides of the boxes. I think they just put them in the truck and pack the boxes right up to the side of it, right? It's just in there. So they don't get very good ventilation. And Jose started putting wood shims on the outside of the boxes to keep a gap between a box and the screens, which I thought was a good idea. But I noticed he started doing that after the fact. He must have had a lot of people with the same problem that I had last year. So we'll see. Hopefully I sent him a picture, said, look, splits are already made. So what you got there, Lee?
Mike's saying he can handle that -30, but not 99. We're not even in summer yet. And I forget what day this was last week. We were hitting 90 and heat index of 100.
Yeah, we've only been in the 80s. I think we hit 90 one day. So we'll see how it goes. But, I was happy with the number I had. These 25 kind of came at a bad time. So we'll see how they go.
You want to know how hot it was, though, and how much work I was having to do that day when it was hot like that?
Well, you're AC in there, though, aren't you?
Oh, yeah. I ain't going to be in that cab without AC or heat.
Let's see. All right. Well, hey, we're a little after 10. We've been going for 2 hours exactly. I got us started on time today, which is unusual for me.
I don't know. It says 2 hours and 15 seconds, and I'm showing 9:02 here. So you must have started about 2 minutes late. I don't know if you're on.
Still earlier than normal.
Hey, it was better than our 10 minutes late, huh?
But anyway, guys, we appreciate it. We thank you. Lee's on 5:12, so I'm sure he doesn't have a lot of extra time tonight to hang out. So
Wore down.
we're gonna call it, and hopefully everybody's having a good season so far. And a $30 kiddie pool will save your life in that heat. I'll tell you what, I went out yesterday, and you know how my bees get, and it was overcast. So I had the full armor on, right? Full suit, boots, the whole 9 yards. And boy, by the time I got done making those splits, all my clothes were wet underneath it. So, and it wasn't even that hot, but that's how it's getting. That's how it's getting around here. So anyway, guys, we appreciate it. Robert, thank you for the super chats. And we'll see you guys next week.
Y'all have a good one.
Good night.
Good night.